All right, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to our third debate. Let's give our debaters a round of applause today. Yay! Okay, we'd like to remind our first speaker, the Prime Minister Dom, that this speech should not exceed more than 3 minutes in length. The timekeeper, Miss Ellie, is all ready, it looks like. So, Mr. Speaker, whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and begin.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dominic Alisea, and I'd like to thank my partner, Ruth, for being here today. And I'd also like to thank the opposition, and I'd like to thank the audience, judges, and timekeeper for time and listening for this debate. The debate on topic today is if students should or should not have one cell phone free day during the school day. Now, our first point, we as the government believe students should have a cell phone free day during the school day. Our first point is that students can communicate during the school day in person instead of, texting each other or talking through social media. Our second point is that their attention would be focused on the schoolwork rather than their phones. So if a student has a study hall, then they could have the opportunity of playing on their phone, but instead, if they did not have their phone, they'd be focused on their schoolwork. Our third point is that students should not be on their phone during the school day anyway, because it's a school policy that students are not supposed to have their phones out throughout the school day. Now, just to review, our first point was that students can communicate during the school day in person. Our second point was their attention needs to be focused on their schoolwork. And our third point was that students should not be on their phone during the school day anyway. Now, I'd like to thank my partner, the opposition, the audience, judges, and timekeeper, and vote for government.
All right, thank you very much. Let's give them a round of applause. And time, please, timekeeper. 1:32. Wonderful, thank you. 1:32. Miss Timekeeper, will you please put 1 minute on the clock for Miss Tsion to go ahead and prepare her arguments, please? Thank you.
I don't have the time. I don't have to do that.
No, you just go ahead and set your timer, and when it goes off, you can just let them know. That's fine. Thank you. You're doing a great job, Ellie. No pressure. Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Timekeeper. All right, let's give a round of applause to our second speaker, please, Ms. Tsion, for the opposition. We'd like to remind both Ms. Speaker and Ms. Timekeeper that this is a speech that should not exceed more than 3 minutes, please. Looks like our timekeeper is ready, so Ms. Speaker, whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and begin.
Hello, my name is Tsion. I'm a leader of the opposition. I would like to thank my partner, Movie, the government, audience, judge, and timekeeper. Today, our debate topic is about if students should or should not have their phone on the school day. And as the leader of the opposition, we say students should have their phone on the school day. The first topic that the government says students can communicate in person when they have their phone, and we oppose that one by saying they still can communicate even if they have their phone, they still can communicate in person. And the second point that the government says they can have their attention on the school work when they have their phone, but we say what if they need their phone to do their works or to get some information from the Google or internet. And the third point that they say is it's a school policy, and we say that's a good point. And so to review, our debate topic is about students should or should not have their phone on the school day, and we say they should have, because the first point we say is they still communicate with the person even if they have their phone. And the second point we say is what if they need their phone to look some informations, and the third point is like that, right? And again, I'd like to thank my partner Molly, the government, audience, judge, and timekeeper. Vote for the opposition.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's give a round of applause. And time, please, timekeeper. 1:54. Thank you, Ms. Timekeeper. Will you please put 1 minute on the clock for Ruth to prepare her arguments, please? Yeah, I haven't made it. That's 1 minute? Okay, thank you very much. I'm sorry. Oh, okay. All right, let's give our second speaker for the government a round of applause. And welcome Ruth to the stand, please. We'd like to remind Ms. Speaker and also Ms. Timekeeper that this is a speech, yes, that should not exceed 3 minutes. If you could take your place with Mike, please. And if you want to bring it down, you can. Just squeeze the handle. Oh, you got to squeeze the handle underneath. There. The lever right there. There you go. And then squeeze it together and pull. There you go. There you are. Okay, so it looks like our timekeeper is ready. So whenever you're ready, Ms. Speaker, you can go ahead and begin.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ruth, and I'm the member of the government side. Before I start, I would like to thank my partner and the audience, our judges, and the timekeeper. And also, I would like to thank the opposition side. Okay, the topic for today's debate is if students should or should not have a cell phone free day. As the opposition mentioned, the first point is students should have phone. Students should have phone. They still can communicate. Well, as we all know, as we, the government side, we believe that students will be more focused on their phone instead of doing schoolwork if they communicate in their school. The second point is if they need their phones, they can Google things online. Well, we, the government side, believe that the school offers computers, so there is no point of students being on their phones. Instead, the computers are there, so they can use the computer to Google stuff. Once again, I would like to thank my partner, the opposition side, and also I would like to thank the audience, judges, and the timekeeper for being here today, and vote for government.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's give her a round of applause. And time, please, timekeeper. 1:53. Okay, thank you very much. Ms. Timekeeper, will you please put 1 minute on the clock for Ms. Molly to prepare her arguments? Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. All righty, ladies and gentlemen, let's give a round of applause to our second speaker for the opposition, Ms. Molly, to take the stand. And we'd like to remind both Ms. Speaker and Ms. Timekeeper that this is a speech that should not exceed just 3 minutes in length, okay? Only 3 minutes. All right, Ms. Speaker, it looks like Ms. Timekeeper is ready, so whenever you're ready, you can go ahead.
Hello, my name is Molly Hubbard, and I am a member of the opposition. Today, I would like to thank my partner, Tsion, for being here, the government, as well as the audience, judges, and timekeeper. Thank you. We, as the opposition, believe that students should be allowed to have their phones during the school day. The first point made was that the students would communicate in person if they didn't have their phones. We agree, but we still think that they will communicate in person anyway, is if they do have their phones. For one, it is much easier to communicate in person than it is to communicate over a cell phone. Their second point was the attention should be on schoolwork and not the phone. That is a good point, but if having your phone with you allows you to do schoolwork in an easier way, and they said that they have computers that we are allowed to use, and that's good as well. But if you have your phone and you're just wanting to look up one single thing, then it's much easier to do it when it's at your hand than to have to leave the classroom and go to the computers to be able to do so. It's also much less distracting. And their third point was it's a good policy. It's the school policy, so we shouldn't be able to have it anyway. That is a good point. They didn't really fight that much, but you can still have your phone with you because some teachers will allow you permission to use it if you need to, so you're not just on your phone anyway. So to review, their first point is communicate in person, and we say that as the opposition that it's easier to communicate face-to-face than in person anyway. Their second point was the attention should not be on schoolwork, and we say that you can use your phone for schoolwork, and it's much less distracting and easier. And their third point was it's a policy, and we say that teachers will allow students to use their phones anyway. So I would like to thank my teammate, Tsion, the government, the audience, the timekeeper, and the judges. Vote for opposition. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's give a round of applause. And time, please, timekeeper. 2:14. Thank you so much. Miss Timekeeper, would you please, again, put 1 minute on the clock? Remember, Tsion, we're coming back to you, okay? 1 minute on the clock, please. Thank you, Miss Timekeeper. Of the opposition with a round of applause, please. Give a round of applause. Yay. All right, we'd like to remind Ms. Speaker and Ms. Timekeeper that this time this speech should only not exceed 2 minutes in length, okay? 2 minutes. Whenever you're ready, Ms. Speaker, you can go ahead and begin.
Hello, my name is Tsion. I'm the leader of the opposition. I would like to thank my partner, Molly, the government, audience, judge, and timekeepers. Today, our debate topic is about if students should or should not have their cell phone on the school day. And we as a position, our side is they should have their phone. The first point that Molly says is, the first one that she says is, it's much easier it's like more easier to communicate face to face rather than by phone. And I would like to support that idea by saying it's for some people it's hard to communicate face to face, but they can use their phone to communicate like with another person. And the second point that she says is like not all teachers allow that one, and also I like to support that idea by saying there's also it's easier and less distracting if they use their phone. And the third point, and the last one, they say it's a school policy and we support that one. So, and again to review, our debate's topic is about if students should or should not have their cell phone number on the school day, and we say they should have their cell phone number. The first one we say is it's a lot easier to communicate by using their phone rather than person by person. And the second point we say is not all teachers allow that one. And again, I'd like to thank my partner Molly, the government, audience, judge, and timekeeper. Vote for the opposition.
Okay, let's give her a round of applause, please. And time, please, timekeeper. 158. Okay, 158. Thank you very much. If you would please put 1 minute on the clock for Dom to prepare his final comments. Remember, Dom, you do need to fight what those girls said. All right, 1 minute on the clock, please. Thank you, Ms. Timekeeper. Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Timekeeper. All right, let's welcome our final speaker to the stand, Mr. Dom, with his final speech for the government. Again, we'd like to remind Mr. Speaker and also Ms. Timekeeper that this is a speech that should not exceed 2 minutes in length, please. Okay, 2 minutes. Ms. Timekeeper looks ready, so whenever you're ready, sir, you may go ahead and begin.
Hello, I'm Dominic Alisea, and I'm the Prime Minister. And first off, I'd like to thank my partner Ruth, and I'd like to thank the opposition, the audience, judge, and timekeeper. The debate for today is if students should or should not have a cell phone free school day. We as the government believe students should have a cell phone free day. Now, the opposition had brought up that it is easier to talk over the phone for some people rather than in person, but we as the government believe that without using your cell phone, it builds character to talk to someone in person rather than hiding behind your phone. Their second point they had said, if you have your phone, it's much easier than leaving the classroom to go to the computer lab. But we agree that it is easier, but it's also might be tempting for the students if they have their cell phone. That gives them the opportunity to maybe go on other social media apps. And the third point the opposition had brought up is that if you still have your phone, you can use it with teachers' approval. That is a good point, but we as the government believe students have other options, such as the computer lab, but they also have a teacher that they can ask questions to rather than looking towards the internet. Now, to review, we believe that without using your cell phone, it helps build character to talk to other people in person rather than over the phone. It might be tempting for students to go on other social media apps if they have their phone, and that students have other resources such as a teacher. Now, I'd like to thank my partner for being here today, the opposition, the audience, judge, and timekeeper, and vote for government.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's give him a round of applause. And time, please, timekeeper. 151. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's give all of our debaters a round of applause today for their participation in today's debate. Thank you very much. Good work.